Today's GitHub Top 10 starts with Iroh. The bigger pattern is frameworks and app tooling, infrastructure and systems, and developer education. The bigger editorial move is that the board is clustering into 6 clear themes, with frameworks and app tooling leading the way. That keeps the brief clean and easy to scan. The top project still matters because its README, release trail, and recent activity back up the attention. Ranking check, number 1 is Iroh, with 369 stars today and Rust as the primary language. Why it trends, Iroh gives you an API for dialing by public key. Developer use case, decide whether this is a tool you can test today, or only a repo to watch. I will keep the same order every episode: rank, stars today, language, why it trends, developer use case, then watch next. That makes the show easier to compare day by day. Frameworks and app tooling clusters Iroh, Meshery, and Supabase, with 669 stars today across 4 repos. Infrastructure and systems is led by Plain, with 613 stars today. Developer education pairs freeCodeCamp and Openai Cookbook, with 442 stars today between them. Minor mentions worth a quick glance: Openai Cookbook. So what? The board is clustering by use case, which keeps the read clean instead of a flat list of names. Top row comparison, number 1 is Iroh, number 2 is freeCodeCamp. The lead row is Rust, the comparison row is TypeScript. That contrast matters because a single repo can spike, but a language and use case cluster tells us whether the board is rotating or broadening. For freeCodeCamp, the quick read is freeCodeCamp. Org's open source code base and curriculum. Learn math, programming, and computer science for free. That gives the viewer a second anchor without turning the episode into a long row-by-row listing. The broader board covers 10 source-checked repos across 6 editorial themes. The language mix is 4 TypeScript repos, 3 Python repos, 1 Rust repo, 1 Kotlin repo. That matters because a mixed language board usually means several developer workflows are moving at once. The clean read is when the README, release, and activity trail all point to the same use case. For Iroh, the use case must be readable from the repo page, not inferred from the star count. That is the editorial standard: stars create the queue, but docs and activity decide the order of attention. If 2 repos have similar momentum, I prefer the one with the clearer developer workflow. When I read GitHub's top 10 board, I separate rank from adoption. The rank tells us what surfaced first today, the README, release trail, and recent activity tell us whether the repo is worth a closer look. Today the board is clustering around clear use cases, which is a stronger signal than a raw star count alone. If the README, release trail, and recent activity line up, it earns the spotlight. If they do not, it stays on the watch list. For the lead repo, I want 3 confirmations: the description says what it does, the language matches the likely developer audience, and the activity trail suggests the project is still alive. That is how this becomes a daily ranking show instead of a generic GitHub summary. The board gives the order, the editorial layer explains why that order matters. On the next refresh, I will check whether the same themes stay near the top, whether a new cluster appears, and whether the leaders still have a live maintenance trail. If the same names keep showing up, that is a sign the theme is durable rather than random. That is the cleanest way to tell whether the pattern is a one-day spike or a real shift. Watch next for top_repo_name. Does it hold rank? Does the star velocity continue? And does the repo page add stronger examples, releases, or issue activity? Watch next for the board. Does the same language cluster repeat, or does a different developer workflow take over the top row tomorrow? Quick note: this is commentary only, not software endorsement. Treat it as a source-checked starting point, then review the license, security history, release notes, and recent activity before deciding whether it belongs in your workflow. The goal is to help you verify fit, not replace your own review. Check the source trail yourself and keep the final decision with your own due diligence.